Buenos días a la día 3 de Unidad 3 y Lección 2. To give a little bit of authenticity to class today, I've got my traditional coffee, which you know I'm usually drinking throughout our class. So add a little bit more spice to the life today. First thing you should have done before joining us today is to make sure you went back to in your slides to this Flip It video. So make sure you watch this first. It will give a lot more insight into it, what exactly we're going to be talking about. It's nice to have that precursor before we jump in. It'll give you more information and will help you understand it a little bit better and deeper, faster. So if you haven't watched it, take a minute and go watch it. You got it? Great. So let's take a look at what we're doing for day 3. So for day 3, we're looking at gramática. This is our first grammar section, and it is possessive adjectives, adjetivos posesivos. We're going to be looking at entrada, looking at some apuntes, which are in your vocab sheets. If you don't have a copy made of that of your own or the paper version, you can go ahead and go over to day 1, and that will have it on there as a link. Just go up to that. You can go and go to File, make a copy, and rename it for your use. Okay, and then you can do whatever you want or need to with it. Okay, we're going to look at some activities for Practica 170, and we're going to be doing activities 5 through 8, and then looking at our exit tasks for today as well. So first, let's take a look at our entrada. So we're looking at using tener and años. Remember that is talking about how many years you have. So we're talking about Luisa, and she is 7. Okay, so we want to type this into a sentence next to it. So we're going to start with our person. So Luisa. Okay, then we're going to change this. So we're going to need to change it to our verb ending, but it's also irregular. So remember that it has a change in the middle. So Luisa tiene. And we're not going to put tener que because we're not using a verb after it saying she has to do something. We're saying she has a certain age, certain number of years. So Luisa tiene, and then we need to put this into Spanish, not just the number, okay? So no cheating. You might need to check out your notes on this one. But tiene 7, and then after that we're going to put años, okay? And I'm actually going to cheat and copy it here instead of turning on my international keyboard because I'm being lazy. So, there we go. Okay, so Luisa tiene 7 años. All of these are going to have just your person, your verb in the correct form. So check your T-charts, the word of the number spelled out all the way, and then años. Okay, so it's not a lot, it's just review, which is what entry tasks pretty much always are. Okay, and then your speaking component to your entry task is going to be ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? So this is an intro into possessive adjectives. We're not talking about just anyone's birthday. We're talking about your birthday. So we're going to start with responding to it. And you can choose to type it first if you want, or just go right to recording. If you're ready to record, you just go up to simple audio recorder, record that, and then go over to File, Insert Audio, and go to Recent, and it should be sitting right there. Just insert it. Okay? So ¿Cuándo tu cumpleaños? I'm going to start with mi cumpleaños es el, then you need a day, okay? Day, and then a month, and then a year. So, mi cumpleaños es el 27 de enero de 1986. Okay, if you're not a 1900s baby, you are a 2000s baby, you are with 2000, and then whatever the last numbers are. So maybe 2001 or 2003. Okay, so that is where you're going to be for that. Just tell me when your birthday is, stick that right in there. Okay, you'll also notice on here there is space for you to record your bookwork activity on here if you have any to do. So you'll stick that right there on that bubble. Okay. Let's take a look at our bookwork. We are going to be on page 170. So let's head on over there after we do our quick little notes. And our notes are just adding in some things that you probably already know. Okay, so let's take a look. This is on your vocab page. And this was on the back of what was printed But we're just going to add in here. So make sure that first you made a copy. So go to make a copy. You can do the entire presentation or just this slide. It's up to you. This slide right here is a lot of the notes, whereas the other stuff is just really the vocab. So it's up to you. Okay, so for we have, let's change the color here. For we have me. Okay, so mi amigo or amiga, mi cumpleaños, mi pastel, mi café. Okay, me. Okay, let's look at your familiar. So the to form is going to be tú. Remember when I said accents mattered? This is where it matters. So with an accent, it just means you. Without an accent, it means your. So it's just that little shift, but it shows possession and it makes a different meaning for that word. Okay. His, her, or its is going to be su. Our is going to be nuestro. Oops, daisy. Nuestro. For this guy here, we have vuestro. So it's kind of nice. It's really similar to our pronouns, and it's also really similar to each other. And last but not least, oopsie daisy, we've got to move these down. There we go. Last but not least, we've got sus. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing about the plural possessives. The only difference in them is that you're going to add an S onto it. Okay. Okay, so what we can do here is we're going to change this to mis, tus. I'm not changing the color on this because it's something you've already seen. Sus, nuestros, vuestros, and once again, sus. Okay, so it's really, really similar in how it works between English and Spanish. There's not a major difference. You'll notice that the spelling's not really different. You've actually seen it in a lot of different things. It's just kind of all clicking and coming together now. Okay, one of a couple of things you want to understand about this is that you have your singular versus plural. So it depends on how many things you are possessing. Okay, so if I say mi tío, my uncle, versus mis tíos, my uncles. Okay, so because it's an adjective, so it's describing whatever the subject pronoun is. So in this case, if it's tíos, more than one uncle, that means everything related to describing who those uncles are needs to also be plural and masculine. Okay. Now, the only thing on here that's going to change gender is going to be the nuestro and vuestro. It can become nuestra and vuestra, okay, depending on what you're talking about. So if you're talking about our family cat, who happens to be female, it'd be nuestra gata. Okay, so keep that in mind. It works a lot like all the other adjectives we've been working with all year. It's just that you're showing possession. Okay, really, really similar to English, which is really kind of nice for once. Okay, let's do some practice over in the book. So if you want to go over to your book, go to your student edition, go to la página. Well, you can start at 169 if you want some more explanation or just see more here. The actual bookwork is going to start on la página 170. Okay, so we have número 5, la familia. We're going to make it a little bigger here. There we go. Marisol habla de las familias y sus animales. Escoge el adjetivo posesivo correcto para expresar lo que dice. Okay, this one's actually kind of easy. You're just reading through it and choosing the correct out of the two. Okay, so on this one, you really just want to identify who the people are in the sentence that are showing possession of the object. Okay, so if we did number 1 together, we would say, nosotros tenemos 3 primas. You can choose nuestros or nuestras primas son altas. They are tall. Okay, now the thing about this one is it's talking about primas, so we know it's going to be plural. Okay, it's more than one. And it's primas. They're female, they're feminine. So we know that it's going to need to be plural and it's going to need to be feminine as well. Okay. We also have nosotros right here, which tells us that it's got to be the nuestro form. Okay. So if that wasn't here as an option, then we for sure know that that would need to be there. Okay. But in this case, because it is primas and it is plural and it is feminine, we know it needs to be nuestra. So take a minute, numbers 1 through 6 to the side here and get that activity done. Got it? Great. Let's go to number 6. This has some review of after school activities. So if you don't remember that, you may want to go back to page 32, 32. And this is a writing and reading section. So usa un adjetivo posesivo y escribe qué actividades hacen estas personas. Okay. So we have la hermana de Alicia es inteligente. Okay. And because she's intelligent, she sacar buenas notas. She has good grades. Okay. Su hermana saca buenas notas. Okay. So instead of saying la hermana de Alicia, Alicia's sister, we're just going to say her sister. So we're instead of being really, really specific, we're getting less specific. Okay. So let's do number 1 together. Los abuelos de nosotros no son muy serios. Escuchar música rock. Okay. So in this case, it's going to be los abuelos de nosotros. How can we change that? Okay. So we can say nuestros abuelos. Okay. And it's going to be nuestros because it's not just one grandparent, it's 2, more than one. Okay. And it is showing that it's either all grandpas or it's a mixture of genders. So it's either male or a mixture. So nuestros abuelos no son, all right. Nuestros abuelos escuchan música rock. Okay, so do make sure that you change that AR ending on there. You have AR, ER, AR, ER, and AR. So go back and look at those notes if you need to as well. Go ahead onto the side, number 1 through 6. Get those sentences. It should only be one sentence per question on there. So 1 through 6, a sentence after each. Make sure you change it so that it has a pronoun first, possessive adjective, then the noun, and add in the conjugated verb that they give you in the parentheses. Got it? Great. Get it done. Good to go? Good. Let's look at Puerto Rico. So las elecciones en Puerto Rico. What do elections reveal about a culture? Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. Puerto Ricans have U.S. citizenship, and those living in the mainland can vote in presidential elections. On the island, Puerto Ricans vote for their governor and local legislature. Voter turnout is high, often over 80%. Puerto Rico has 3 main political parties, the Partido Popular Democrático, which is like the Democratic Party, and they favor the current political status. The Partido Nuevo Progresista wants Puerto Rico to become a 51st state, mostly because they want to have similar rights and privileges of regular U.S. citizens, which they do not currently have. And the Partido Independentista Puertorriqueño supports independence from the U.S. to be their own country. So it's kind of interesting. They have 3 totally different viewpoints, and those parties make up those viewpoints. So, compara con tu mundo. What issues would motivate you to vote when you are 18? So think about that. We might discuss that a little bit in our question of the weeks coming up. And think about the things that are going on. We have a lot of immigration things. We have a presidential election coming up. We've got lots of things going on politically that affect our daily lives. So what are some things you're actually interested in learning more about? Okay, take a thought about that while we move on. So let's take a look at number 7. Okay, if you want, you can look up here at exactly how we do numbers. We've gone over this before. It's not new, but you can review that as well. So, trabaja con otro o otra estudiante. Usa la línea cronológica para decir las fechas de nacimiento de estos puertorriqueños famosos. Okay, so you're going to ask this question here. Okay, in this case, because of our situation, you're going to talk to yourself. Sorry. Okay, so talk to yourself, ask yourself a question. If you want to do this and then this, it's up to you. But ask yourself a question and then respond. Make sure you're recording with your audio recorder here and insert that into your entrada slide to get credit for this one. Okay, let's look at an example. So, ¿cuál es la fecha de nacimiento de Carlos Beltrán? Carlos Beltrán is right here, and he's an atleta, which is an athlete. Okay, and it shows his birthday here. Now, remember, it's different. So, you notice there's not a 24th month, right? That's because it starts with a day. Okay, it's like the military dates and times. So it's the 24th day of April, which is the 4th month of 1977. Okay, so remember that that's how it's done in Spanish, and actually it's how it's kind of done in most of the world. The United States is actually the one that's a little bit backwards. So su fecha, so his date of birth, so su fecha de nacimiento es el 24 de abril de 1977. Okay. You may want to write those down first. You do not have to write it down here, but you do need to record it. I need to be able to hear you saying it so I can give you some feedback. Okay. Stick that into your entrada slide when you get done doing that right now. Got it. Great. Let's look at another speaking section, which you're also going to put into your entrada slide. Oh, nectar of the gods. Habla con otra estudiante sobre las personas y animales domésticos en tu familia. Y'all know I like talking about my dog, so here we go. So if we talked about the model says serio or seria, which means somebody who's serious. Hay una persona seria en tu familia. So notice they use seria because they use the word persona. So they had to be changed to be feminine. It doesn't mean that the person you're going to talk about necessarily is going to be a female. So keep that in mind. And the answer here for our example is, sí, mi tío David es muy serio. Okay, so my uncle David is very serious. Okay, I'll give you another example. If I said atlético, the question would be, ¿hay una persona atlética en tu familia? My answer would be, sí, mi esposo, my husband, mi esposo, Brad, es muy atlético. Okay? You need number 1 through 8. You give me an optional number 9, whichever adjective we've used in the past that you like, and add that in there. So 1 through 9. And go ahead and give me those oral responses and stick those into your entrada slide. Go. Got it? Great. Let's take a look at our exit task because we are done with our bookwork. So let's go back to our slides. And we're going to take a look at this. So we're going to use possessive adjectives and dates, something we've already done. Okay. So cumpleaños de, what is my here? Madrastra. Madrastra is a step. Anytime you have astra on here, added to anything else that's a stem of a family, it means they're a step something. So madre and astra means stepmother. Okay. So stepfather would be padrastro. Okay. Did you get that? Padrastro. It has an O in the end because he's a guy. Okay. And their birthday is, remember, this is backwards. So this is the day here, and this is the month. Okay, so it's not in the summertime, it's actually in the fall. Okay, so take a look at that. We also need to do some at-home tutor. So if you go back to your resources here, we can check out the resources there. At-home tutor. We're going to have a little more practice with possessive adjectives. If you think you've really got this, then please email me so you can take your quiz early on this and get it out of the way. So let's go to choose a level. Choose Unit 3, Lección 2, Gramática. You can watch another presentation of the grammar if you like, but we've done a pretty good amount of practice. So I will go ahead and go over to the practice for Gramática 1. Please make sure that you've got your submit button on instead of the practice button, okay? And you go through all 5 of these. These are really, really great practice for you to see the same thing used in a couple different ways, okay? When you are done with this, let me know, turn in your work, and we will get you on your way to your next assignments. Nos vemos!